Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Liminal Boundaries Channel, where we are live screenwriting The Ballad of Garvin Hackett. It's a movie script being written completely from scratch. It's an ironic, darkly comic take on 90s action movies. Think Forrest Gump meets Scarface, directed by Sidney Lumet. So the laws of physics actually apply. Instead of going the traditional development route, I'm writing this movie live and in public directly for you to visualize later as a cinematic graphic novel. Basically, all the work I'm doing on this movie is in this stream. So I'm not working on it or thinking about it much actually when I'm outside of this stream. You're actually seeing the whole process. That's the point of this series of videos. So I'm writing the movie live and in public directly for you to visualize later, maybe as a cinematic graphic novel. I think that's an interesting way of reifying ideas that has become more interesting with recent technological advancements. So if you've got a good idea and you think it could improve the script, drop it in the chat. And it might just make it in. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. And if you want to follow along from the beginning, check out the Liminal Boundaries channel. Link will be in the description. So let's talk about the episode today. Write with me, live screenwriting from scratch. And we are doing what? We're doing Day 37, Act 1, Scene Outlining. Garvin Hackett. So we've got our general outline. We've got the general shape of it. Today we're doing Act 1. Before we start, we'll do our little ritual, which I will welcome everyone who's watching. And add a little smiley this time. Why not give it a little love? A little smile. And then I'll start the timer. And let's see what we got. So look at our to-dos. From the last episode, it says, beat out the scenes with AI from Garvin Chase's dad. So we tried beating out the scenes from AI last time. And honestly, I could probably do it faster just doing it myself. So we'll still give it a shot. I'll still continue throwing them in. But we'll see. Actually, it'd be fun to race the AI and see who comes up with better ideas. That sounds like a challenge. Let's do it. This is going to be fun. All right. So where were we? We're in the ordinary world in late 1991 Miami. The crime wave is and building the bomb, right? Crime wave broadcast. Just put that. Crime wave broadcast. Building the bomb. And then JR calls Garvin to breakfast. Whitey Jackson stalks his victim. Beatrice humiliates Garvin at breakfast, and Garvin asks JR for help. And that's the first sort of sequence of the story. That's the yeah, that's it. And then we'll move on to the inciting incident. So let's see where we are. So here it is. I'm just gonna write down the basic drive of the scene, right? Is wait, hold on. I am going to go here because I'm not sure we have this one. Oh yeah, we do have this one. Great, it's all done. Great. Cool. So let's delete that white. Wait, hold on, and let's try it again. Garvin chases JR out of the kitchen and into, I don't know the set yet, location exactly, but he asks him why he didn't stand up for him. You know, how he lets his mom treat him that way, and why he didn't stand up for him. And the basic exchange is that the father tells him, because in life, nobody will stand up for you unless you stand up for yourself. And you have to learn how to do that. When you stand up for yourself, you'll have my support. So that's basically the gist of the scene. So Garvin chases JR out of the kitchen into the garage. Let's see. Doesn't like my sound review. You have to stand up for yourself. When you do, you'll have my support. I'm asking you, we have to stand for something. Okay. So that's the basic scene summary. And then you're on her side. You think I'm a loser too. You're not a loser. God has a plan for everyone. You'll find your talent. Okay. I like this. There's a difference between being peaceful and being harmless. Okay, so I'm going to throw these raw notes into Claude, see what it does. Let's see. Okay, Claude, here's another scene, raw notes. This is right after the breakfast scene. Garvin chases JR into, I'm thinking the garage is where they might do this. And you'll have this interchange where, well, these are the raw notes. So see if you can structure it using my structure and point out areas that are missing, and after that, maybe how you might fill them in. And then here's the raw notes. Whoa, not what I wanted. Okay, here's the raw notes. Okay, and I'll paste it. Oh no, that didn't come through. Let's go back to here, and we'll grab this. Oh no. There you go. And copy. I hit the wrong hotkey, guys. I deleted the scene. Thank God I got it back. All right, here we go. Let's see what Claude does. And in the meantime, let's go back to writing. Okay, so we got a kind of scene summary, and let's go. So we have a setup, escalation 1, escalation 2, escalation 3, twist, resolution, and then we have Garvin, G1, G2, G3, let's bring this in, and G4, we go J1, J2, J3, and J4. And the last thing he does is challenge Garvin. stand for something. And maybe evade. That gives you a nice arc. And then see, appeal to God. And then let's see. Yeah, you will appease. You will find your talent. So that's Garvin. That's his 3 decisions. Let's go to Garvin. So we got some nice dynamism there between the first and the third. First and the fourth, sorry. And the third has a nice appeasement to challenge. It's pretty good. And let's see. Garvin 1. Then Chase asked. Chase, right? Jason asked why. And then accuse of disliking him, of thinking he's a loser too. And then the last thing he does, let's see. This is after he challenges him. Right? How does Garvin respond? Silence. So here, let's see what he says. Yeah. Question is courage. All right. So the setup is Garvin chases JR into the garage, asking why he didn't stand up for him in front of his mother. Why JR doesn't stand up for him in front of his mother, Beatrice. Okay. And then escalation 1. He accuses JR of thinking he's a loser too, just like his mom does. Okay. And then escalation 2. So here, so we'll just put them in here. So yeah. And then yeah. Escalation 1. There says he's late for work. Talk later. And then escalation 2. Yeah, question is courage. Question JR is courage. Some war hero. Right, Garvin. Questions JR's courage. Some war hero. And then JR goes to God. Right? And talks of hell. War is hell. No, not war is hell. He appeals to God. He does that. And what was it? Oh, yeah. Peaceful and harmless. And then kind of a twist. Kind of need a twist. I mean, if we, you know, actually the twist is the challenge. And then the resolution is JR drives away. Oh, this is good. JR drives away, says he loves Garvin. Garvin rejects. Silence. Nice. Okay. So now we just move these in. Okay. So, asks why. JR doesn't set up rather Beatrice. Good. And then so we've already set up the game there. And then JR won't evade. JR says he's late for work, talk later. And then G2. Oh, there you go. So then G2 accuse JR, thinking he's a loser too, just like his mom does. And then escalation 2. He appeals to God. So, okay. J's God and difference between peaceful and harmless. And we go here. Okay. And actually, Garvin actually questions his courage. Yeah. So, and He questions JR's courage. And then JR. There's a difference between peaceful and harmless. And then you'll find your talent. So this actually, yep. And then JR4. Oopsie. No. There we go. And JR selfie less Garvin. JR drives away. Okay. So I think we got some stuff here. Let's take a look. And then his reject. JR's love. Silence. JR drives away. All right. So let's get these pieces of dialogue in here. Okay. God has a plan for everyone. And then okay. 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 I mean, you have to stand up for something. So. And then you're on her side. Why is there treatment that way? So that's repetitive. Let's see. That's yeah. Jerry tells him he's not a loser. God has a plan for everybody. Okay, he's figuring out what his talent is. That's useful. Yep. Okay. Difference between being peaceful and being harmless. Okay. Garvin. I hope you. Okay. Everyone is good at something. I like that line. Oh, it's already in there. Okay. Let's see. We're already in this inciting incident. Let's close these out so that we don't get distracted. Before we stand up for ourselves, we need to figure out what we stand for. when you do, I'll be back. Until then, I love you. Yep. Okay. All right, so let's read it. Garvin chases Jay out of the kitchen into the garage, asking why he didn't stand up for him. Actually, this is repetitive now. Nobody will stand up for you. Nobody will stand up for you. Unless they know what they're standing for. That includes you. That includes you. Okay. In life, Garvin, no one will stand up for you unless they know no one stands up for anything. Nobody can. I can't do that for you. Okay. So something like that. And we can delete the scene summary. Okay, so we get the basic dialogue. And let's see. Now let's see what Claude came up with. Let's see if it came up with it. Okay. Yeah, they established the game good. Claude figured that out. Yeah. Wow. They did it as escalation 1. I did it as the twist. Damn, Claude's getting good. Garvin accuses Jar of taking Mom's side. Okay. Cool. I'm going to tell Claude what I came up with. Let me copy it. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, here we go. Okay. Here is what I came up with. Boom. And of course, it didn't copy properly. So let's go back. So 1. Whoa. Hopefully this works. Let's see. No. Oh, God. Of all the things I'm having trouble with copying and pasting. Okay. There we go. I don't know why it's happening too. I just have to fix it. Get out of there. Oh, my hotkey stopped working. Well, that sucks. Alright. Oh no, it didn't stop working. I'm just hitting the wrong hotkey. I'm throwing off my game by this copy paste thing. We'll do it the old fashioned way. There we go. Switch out here. There we go. Let's see what Claude says about my analysis. I'm not surprised that Claude did such a good job, actually. Let's see how it did it. It's analyzing divergent narrative choices and structural patterns. A decision can double as a twist. J4 is both a decision and a change of strategy, and the twist itself. The skill currently treats twist and decisions as separate lines that can co-occur, but doesn't say a single line can serve as both at once. This example confirms that's fine. One thing I love about what Claude's doing is it's learning how I write and then updating the skill. That's pretty crazy. Decision 1 can be evasion, not a direct answer. J1 dodges the question instead of answering it. This is still a valid decision, since evasion is itself a strategy. A decision can carry a stage direction inside it, picks his revolver into his belt, sits inside G3's beat. This is like the sub-bullet rule in the skill, just applied to a physical action instead of a list. None of this breaks a rule already written. It confirms the rules work for a case with fewer escalations and denser decisions per escalation. I don't think the skill needs a change here. Let me know if you want me to add the decision can be the twist note explicitly just to be safe for future scenes. One open item, G4 is reject JR's low silence. A decision with no line, only a stage direction. That's consistent with the physical choice rule already in the skill. That's pretty cool, actually. Well, I think you should update your own skill if you had an insight, especially around items 1 and 2. I think you already knew item 3, but I'll leave that up to you. Let's see. Then I'll just move on to my next scene here. But I want to see what Claude says, actually. I'm curious. All right. Oh, it actually is updating the file. Okay, let's go back to 1. This is important, the resolution. Now let me just tell Claude, because Claude should know this. Hey Claude, in case you don't know, the decisions have a pattern. So the first decision is the decision that the character makes pursuing the game with their strategy. The second decision is what they do when the stakes are raised against the strategy. Usually it's a double down. The fourth decision is meant to contrast the first decision. And the third decision exists to contrast the fourth decision as much as possible. So you write that one last. So you start with 1. 2 is usually pretty easy because you know the game, so you can think of an escalating decision. 4 is pretty easy because if you know how the scene ends and you know how the scene turns, you'll see that the last decision differs in strategy from the first decision. This doesn't happen in every case, but this is a common pattern. And then you have the only one left is the third decision. And the third decision is basically a decision to create as much contrast with the fourth decision as possible. I don't know if you've noticed that in the outputs that I've submitted to you, the outlines. Let's see. Let's see what Claude says. Oh, it updated the skill. Okay. Cool, you noticed that. Yep. Did you notice that Garvin does it too? Let me see. Yep. So I noticed that Garvin's first choice is active and verbal, chasing JR down, demanding an answer. Garvin 4 is passive and silent, rejecting JR's love with no words at all. That's the same contrast as JR, an active opening move against a withdraw and closing move. Yeah. And then and G3 some war hero questioning is the sharpest, most aggressive line Garvin has in the whole scene, but right next to his silence. It creates the biggest possible gap between loud and hostile and silent closed off. Same build order. G4 was probably clear once you knew the scene ends with Garvin shutting down, and G3 got written to make that shutdown land as hard as possible. Good confirmation that the pattern holds across characters in same scene, not just within one's character arc. The rule I added covers this case already. No change needed unless you want to log the cross-character symmetry itself, which is a slightly different thing. It's just how scenes tend to develop because characters tend to develop in the scene, whatever the game in the scene is. So that's how it works. And yeah, Garvin's first and fourth decision determine his arc in the scene, just like JR's first and fourth decision determine his arc. But JR goes from appeasement to love and maturity, and Garvin is not mature yet. In the next scene, JR will be killed, and so Garvin will have to deal with that pain of having rejected him as their final moment. Yep. And then right now it looks like a sun shutting down. Later it becomes the moment he can't take back. It also sets up real weight for Garvin's arc later. Whatever growth he goes through afterwards, it can trace back to this specific failure. He was offered his father's love and support, and he answered with silence instead of taking it. This is a story note, not a skill rule, so I'll leave the skill as is unless you want something added. For example, a way to flag arc defining decisions. No need. It's just something for you to know. But it's not necessary in the skill. Let's see. What will happen is Garvin will discover his talent, which is killing people, just like his father's talent was killing people in the Vietnam War. He became very peaceful later, but when he was young, he didn't get all those medals for nothing. Garvin will eventually discover his talent, and it's killing people. And that's what drives the rest of the movie. And his father, he inherited that from his father, who didn't get all those Vietnam War medals for nothing. Even though his father comes across as very peaceful, he is a dangerous man. Garvin actually listens. He just finds the talent in the bloodline, not the one JR meant. And the difference between being peaceful and being harmless reads very differently in hindsight, too. JR wasn't offering a platitude, he was describing himself. Garvin inherits the capacity, not the restraint. That's right. He inherits the capacity from his dad and his lack of restraint from guess who? She's the one with no restraint at the breakfast scene, all escalation and no break, double down every time. JR tries to de-escalate. Garvin gets the lethal capability from JR's side and the complete absence of a governor on it from Beatrice's side. Neither parent alone would produce him. It takes both halves. Cloud's getting a little too smart at story analysis here. Oh, yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So back to one. Here. Okay. And let's move on to the next scene. Well, we've done the ordinary world. So the ordinary world ends here. And then the first scene in the inciting incident is JR stops for a donut. Mm-hmm. And there's like a physical comedy thing here. So this is the inside his car, right? There's car. And then Whitey kills JR, so The man Whitey was following pulls up to the donut shop. Whitey gets out of the car and opens the trunk where he arms the bomb. When he lowers the trunk, we see Garvin's dad's car right next to the man he's following's car, and they look identical. That Whitey was following. The two cars look identical. Whitey checks the Polaroid against both cars, but cannot tell the difference. What should he do? Should he flip a coin? Something. And then he walks over and places the bomb under one of the cars. And then, of course, the man walks out, and so does JR, enjoying his donut. And maybe he smiles at the guy. Moment of recognition that they both love donuts. And then his car blows up. Okay. So that's the next scene, and we will beat it out next time. That's enough for this episode. I think in future episodes I'm going to go a little faster. I'm doing these kind of slow because I'm actually training Claude, actually. So I'm kind of curious about the AI, but I think we can probably bang out 2 or 3 of these per session going forward. I was honestly surprised at how good Claude was at reasoning about this stuff. So we got 2 to go, and we'll pick them up on the next one. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this short session, and if you watched this far, thank you, and I hope it was useful, and have a wonderful day. All right, that's it for today's stream. So if you want to apply the tools I use here to your own work, I put together something special for you. Right next to me on the screen, you'll see a QR code for my Screenwriting Masterclass. As someone who fixes stories for a living, I can't afford writer's block, and neither should you. So I took the exact tools working writers use to make bulletproof narratives and packed them into this premium video course. It doesn't matter if you're writing screenplays, novels, comics, TV, or games. This works for any narrative story. You'll get full scene-by-scene breakdowns of famous films, hands-on guidance, and the exact system to ensure you never stare at a blank page again. It's $47, and a portion of every sale goes directly to support emerging artists through the Arts Accelerator nonprofit. If you're serious about mastering the craft, pull out your phone, scan the QR code right here, or hit the link in the description below. Get it now, and I'll see you on the next stream.